Alright, so this isn't one of my typical videos, obviously. It's just a day in the shop. I've got to get a bunch of stuff done, or I've wanted to get a bunch of stuff done for a long time that I've just been putting off, and I finally have the perfect reason to do so. And one of them is to clear out this wall so I could build a workbench. I'm going to, hopefully this winter, build a traditional woodworking workbench to go right here, but all this stuff is in the way, so this is going to be moved, and a couple changes will be made around the perimeter of the shop because of it. So the first change is that my computer has to go. It's a love and hate relationship with the computer being in here. I absolutely love it because it's so convenient when I need a measurement or just to get anything off the computer really fast as I'm working on something. It's so convenient, but I hate it being in here because it's so convenient. I get on there and then I get distracted, and then 15 or 20 minutes has passed and I've wasted time when I should be doing something else. So it needs to come out. I'm also going to be using that space for a couple of these items, so that's another reason why it needs to come out. And then also one of the main driving factors is I realized that a couple days out of the week I'm just sitting on the computer doing computer work, not really doing anything in the shop, so it really doesn't make sense to heat and cool my shop when I'm just doing computer work and I'm already heating and cooling the house. So as much as I really want to keep this computer in here, it's got to go for a couple different reasons. So, and it's not really like it's going that far. It's where it's at now, but it's only going to the other side of this wall where the finishing supply rack is. Literally, when you go through this door, turn right and there's a desk, that's where it's going. So it's not like it's going too far. So the shop vac and cyclone cart, it's going to go over there. And then also the drill press cart, it's going to go over there as well. So ever since I made the clamp rack, I wanted to move it on this particular wall, but it was just inconvenient for me to move it at that time. Now it is very convenient because I've got to move some other stuff anyway, and it would kind of suck to have the clamps right behind the workbench because you could back into it and, you know, rub your back up against stuff, and it's just going to be in the way. So it makes more sense to move them over here, especially considering I do all of my glue ups on this corner of the workbench, it seems like, or this work table, it seems like. So to move the clamp rack over to here, both flags need to come down. The flag and the banner need to come down. They're going to go back over to the other wall. And this shelving unit thing, whatever you want to call it, it's going to move over the jointer and probably be cut down so it'll better fit the area. And hopefully this will end up being a little bit more efficient in the shop. I still have my shelf above the jointer for all of my push sticks and adjustment tools and stuff like that. And the clamps will be very close to where I actually use them. So this little rolling cabinet can go right in front of the sticker cabinet. I only access the sticker cabinet 2 or 3 times a month, so I'm totally okay with rolling the cabinet out to access the sticker cabinet. That's perfectly fine, and it's out of the way and a good use of space over there. I'd like to move the finishing supply rack, basically just take it off the wall and move it somewhere else so that this particular wall remains flat. If my bench is going to be in front of it, I'm not exactly sure if I will be using the back side of it more because I'm facing the camera or whatever. I don't know how I'm going to use it, but having everything flat on that wall is going to be more beneficial. This trash can, of course, can be moved anywhere, and this dresser has to go. I've been using this dresser for several years. I found it out of the trash, and it's just a big rolling sawhorse setup is how I use it now. I don't really use it for storage. Just like I said, a rolling set of sawhorses, basically. It's just taking up space. It's got to go. I don't really use it enough to justify keeping it anymore, so out the door with it. The finishing supply rack that was on the wall where the camera is, taking up a bunch of wall space, is now taking up a lot less space in a perpendicular to the wall orientation on the side of my miter saw station. And I put it on drawer slides so the whole thing can be slid out for better access, as well as unclipped from the drawer slides and completely removed if I need to access the breaker panel to do some work or whatever. Very simple to get rid of this thing out of the way, and it also allows me access to my very long-term storage behind the cubbies in my miter saw station, but just closes it off when I don't need it, which is fine, and puts this out of the way, and it's like it always belonged there. So I think that works out really well. So the end result is quite a bit of extra space in here. From the planer to the wall is 8 feet, and then from the garage door to the beginning of these steps is 14 feet. So I just removed the computer out of the shop, optimized that space the best I can, and then got rid of that ugly dresser that I've been using for several years, and moved a couple other things. So I think this is pretty neat. I'm going to have a lot of space right here to build a workbench and then use a workbench. So getting excited for that. I don't know when I'll be able to make that, but a very productive day in the shop. So thanks for tagging along. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time.